Oh, the show is Conversations, and last week we started something, a discussion on drug abuse. And from popular demand, you asked that we do a continuation. And so we are at the moment continuing where we stopped drug abuse. It's a canker worm and it's eating real deep into the fabrics of our nation. Now, today we'll be looking at some of the reasons why people go into it. And then, of course, as a family, when I say family, a society is, the family is the smallest unit of society. So I'm talking about the family on the larger scale. We'll be looking at ways we can help the members of family to ensure that this does not happen. Do you even know when someone is involved in it? How do you begin to spot that out character-wise? Well, I don't know. We still have our panelists, so to speak, our discussants last week, all seated. Just in case you didn't remember their names, I'll let them introduce themselves. My name is Elizabeth, by the way, and
my name is Joe Panachi. It's good to be here.
All right.
My name is Deva Mom. Good morning, everybody.
And my name is Femi Babafemi. Good morning, Nigerians.
I always say that people that carry, double name.
What happens? Elizabeth, don't go there.
They're a bit greedy. But I will not say,
Please,
I will not dwell on
discuss
it.
that off.
All right, but I'm just wondering, really. I don't know. You try to tell us what drug abuse is all about, but I always wonder what it is like to get to see cocaine for the first time. Jesus. I've never seen one. And I always wonder what it is like to see Indian hemp. I've never seen one. I've never really seen any kind of drug, but I'm wondering, have you been exposed to one?
You've seen tramadol before?
Yeah.
But that's a prescription drug. I understand what she's saying. I think she's referring to hard drugs.
Drugs.
Yeah, the illicit drugs. I actually have not. And sometimes when I say these things, people look at me like, you can't be serious, especially with our field, journalism and things like that. But I came to realize that I had bumped into stuff, but didn't know that was what it was. Now, I recall there was this place I was working. We had this habit because we used to work so hard during the week that on Fridays, we'd do a thank God it's Friday thing.
Party hard.
Yeah, we'd party hard, we'd pack ourselves to lounges and nightclubs and dance, and some people would dance overnight and things. So I used to make it I'd go, but I'd leave early because I was driving myself home, and at night, a single lady driving a car, anything can go wrong. So I was that kind of person that will cut out like midnight and leave the others to continue till whenever they feel like. But I had noticed, like in the Wuse 2 axis, around the former Amigo axis, back then when I'm like looking for my small parking space, you'd find all these people running up to me with small parcels. Oh. And I never knew it was drugs. I used to think like maybe they're beggars. It wasn't something to eat. It wasn't candy. What's this? The whole time that thing was going on, I didn't know it was drugs. Wow. I didn't know. So I haven't seen the substance itself.
But when they came up to you, what did they tell you?
No, because as you're coming, you're running up to me. I didn't beckon you. It's late at night. I'm winding up my windows. I'm not even trying to have that conversation. And I'm not opening my door till you leave the vicinity. So I never got to know what it was they were trying to sell or anything. I'd go in, do my stuff, have my good time, and leave. Then for the longest time, I've been like, I don't even know what Indian hemp smells like.
Ooh.
But
I know.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
No, let me say why. The thing is, I've never been there to see somebody rolling it and light it up.
Okay.
But if you ever go dancing, I used to wonder, why is it that each time I go dancing, the following day I feel so drained, so sick, so this. It's because of people smoking all kinds of illicit stuff around.
Yeah.
you know, and I'd inhale all of that stuff and not know that I was taking
You're
in,
worse.
you know, secondhand
worse
smoke,
for
which
it.
they say is even
You're
worse
for it.
Yeah, the
Yes.
passive
than
smoker.
the passive smoker. So because of that, I've gradually come to really detest the nightclub scene, not because people are smoking, but because of how I feel the next day. I don't drink, I don't smoke, but I wake up feeling like
You did all that.
I did all that, feeling really sick, not wanting to
Yeah.
get out of bed till around, you know, afternoon. So there could be a lot of people who are encountering these things and
Yes.
not really knowing what is going on around them.
True.
For God's sake, if you are as naive as I was, somebody could even be doing something like that in the house and you wouldn't,
wouldn't know.
Because
I
now they
agree.
even bake it in cookies.
Yes, they do. Yeah, I agree with you. Like I let me take an example. Like I always like to do the real life talk. And here it was that some people were smoking. I didn't know what they were smoking. And do you want to try it? And I always tell people, don't try stuff.
Exactly.
If you don't know how to do, I don't drink, I don't smoke. I did it all these years. So why do I come and start to do? And people say it's not a bad habit. I said, for me, it's a bad habit. And this time, somebody was smoking. I don't know how it smells, but your head becomes very, very funny. And the next day, the sad part was that I wore the same wig out, and somebody said, "You are smoking Igbo, you are smelling Igbo." And you know,
No,
and
hold on. The
Yeah,
person
because
was
it gets
smoking.
trapped in
yeah,
your
your
hair,
wig,
in your
your
clothing.
my
wig,
wig,
yeah,
because
Yeah.
because
Oh
you
my
see, if you
God.
go to an enclosed place,
Yeah.
especially the nightclubs, I don't do nightclubs because the next day you're funny, just like what she said. But one thing I realized from that first time, I wore the same wig. It wasn't aired, it wasn't washed. I didn't know it was Igbo. And there I was, and somebody said, sis, you they smell Igbo. And you know, I say, how? He said, everything about you is, I wore perfume.
Yeah.
But you can see how strong the Igbo was. And I won't lie to you, that whole day was bad because I went to so many places, nobody told me. But this friend of mine told me. And I was like, God, and there I was smelling Igbo. What
And-
perception
And it's also
will people
possible
have
that
about me?
other people were like, "Ooh, this man smells off," but couldn't tell what the off was.
That's another
It's not
thing.
everybody that will readily know that.
readily know
that's
about
what it
how
was.
No,
Igbo
someone like me
smells.
would have said off because I don't know what it smells like.
Just imagine if is that not sitting from outside.
Yes,
Just imagine what it does to your
to the system. So it's
It's
I think
awful.
there
It's
should be.
awful.
I think the thing here is that I see cocaine when they show it on TV.
Exactly.
But you see, there should be awareness in schools, awareness in churches, awareness in mosque, awareness in everyday living.
Social organization.
Because I noticed that most lounges, take it or leave it, they're selling them.
Now, that's
Makes
throwing the
sense.
ball right into your net. But let me even start from the cookie parts. I know sometime this year, or was it last year, I had a conversation with you on our program, Weekend Deal, and we talked about people, you made mention about certain family members who bake and sell to people in cakes and cookies. They actually put stuff inside. And I was like, thank God I don't eat cake. Thank God I don't eat cookies. So if they smuggle it in, I wouldn't know. How would people like me, people who are naive, just like I am, understand the difference between the regular cookie and the Igbo cookie?
Well, the
Sorry.
major thing is I recall what Ivan said last week that I think she was somewhere and they gave her. Was it Divan? I think
Yeah.
it was,
No, it was Joy.
It was Joy.
They gave me palm wine.
And indeed, there are variants, or there were variants. That is the palm wine without
Something.
stuff, and the one with stuff. So I think it's ideal for one if you have to take something that is not prepared by you to ask what is in there.
Would they tell you?
Yeah, if indeed,
Okay.
absolutely, except somebody that is out to harm you.
Yeah.
If somebody is out to harm you, then even if you're a victim, you have a moral grant to take on that person,
Okay.
because you must have been lured to take that in a bid to harm you or hurt you. So you have a moral authority or moral ground to challenge or take on that person. But then the primary thing is, if you are buying cookies or cakes, you have the right to ask to know what are the ingredients, because these days you hear all manner of things, so you just want to know what you are consuming. Like and yeah, because
They put it.
yeah, the some, for instance, but mostly you see where people that take this in, they are on demand. That is,
I agree.
yeah, they are on demand. They know the customers know those that produce, and the producers know their clients, know their clients. Even though there are some that try to cultivate a new community of customers, but then and I think that was why how we actually started with in Abuja here, arresting those preparing this. And actually there was a young lady who tried to give the cookies to actually try to create a community of buyers and try to give it out free. Yeah, so she was giving it out free until one of the ladies she gave it to got home and started misbehaving at home. So the family.
So what was beneficial to the lady selling?
No,
Because
If
you see
if you eat it and you enjoy it, you ask for it.
tomorrow you now she now say, "I know I sell, but I only
Okay,
change it."
alright,
That's
I
how
get
they,
it.
that's how they create a community of
Yeah,
customers.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
So
like the kuli on the table.
Yes.
Eh?
Uh-huh.
It's
It's a
actually
marketing
free.
strategy.
Yes.
It's free.
Yes.
But the owner says if you like it, you
It's
pay.
true.
You know, that kind of
So
thing.
So
Very
that's
strict
the way it
for
works.
this morning.
Okay. All
So that
right.
was how we busted the lady and discovered that indeed she was giving it to young people to lure them into, like, young people can like something that is sweet and that
Yeah.
makes them feel
High.
high, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, even though they may not even necessarily ask why
Why?
they are high, why, what is inside. So those kind of things. But I think largely we've been on their trail, and we've really arrested a lot of them across the country, not just in Abuja, in Edo. Even in the Edo, we arrested. It's a medical doctor that was doing it. That's somebody that actually knows
I'm
the
scared.
thing. Yeah,
Medical
I know.
doctor.
Yeah, there are medical doctors that smoke themselves to death.
It's good for you to smoke, but not for you to bake.
It's not good to smoke
It's
either.
your business.
Not
No,
even the
I think this is just based on trying to make money.
Yeah,
Selfish.
definitely. It's,
Yes,
because she was
selfish.
working. She's a
She's
medical
a
doctor.
she?
Yeah, she.
Ah,
She's a lady. She's a young
God.
lady working at I won't disclose the hospital. They're right in Benin there, and we were able to get her. Then we discovered that they were also using the riders, the courier companies
Yes.
to distribute all of this, and we descended heavily on that chain, and we're able to break that network also. So that has really largely helped, and we also discovered that they went online. And when they noticed, we also tracked the number of them online. And when they noticed that we're online, they also tried to move to WhatsApp. Where it's a bit encrypted.
Yeah.
And we started also penetrating that area. Then some of them migrated to WhatsApp status. Moving away from group chats where they advertise them, move to WhatsApp status, because if you are not, if you
can't see it.
my
You
status.
can't see my
So
status.
all of that, they've been moving, but then we're actually really on their trail. And,
you know, the thing is,
I wanted to chip in. I really wish that we had, since we're talking about what these substances look like, it would have been nice to see what they actually look like in person, so to speak.
You
Like
want
if we
it
had
on
had
the
small
table?
samples.
I don't
it's also not good.
Yes.
To
no.
push that out
Yeah,
there
yeah.
because of the young people.
People.
They don't know what it looks like.
Yeah, exactly. So you understand? You may on the one hand trying to educate them. On the other hand,
Hand.
it's also a
Somebody's
big
learning
temptation.
something
Yeah.
else.
Because where I'm coming from is this. Based on what we've seen in movies, I know that cocaine is supposed to look like a white substance,
A powder.
a powder. Is it of the consistency of sugar? Is it more refined, like
Real talcum powder?
a talcum powder? So that, for instance, if you have a young lady in the house who has emptied out her talcum powder and poured that thing inside, how can you?
No, I think no.
First, somebody
You,
that is
you not to fill it up, because I know it's quite
somebody that
expensive.
is abusing. Let's even start from the gateway.
Yes.
Drugs. Somebody
Yeah.
that is started before you even get to
Get
cocaine.
to
It's not that
cocaine.
easy to get.
Yeah, okay.
That point.
Okay.
That you
That's the
won't-
high end
Yes,
Yes.
that you won't. If the person lives with you in the house, there are quite a lot of signs that you would have
Yeah.
seen. A lot of red flags. If you are careful, if you are observant. One, you will notice that, for instance, if the same person has always been with you in the living room, watching TV together, having family time together, suddenly you will notice that that kind of a person will start withdrawing.
Withdrawing. That's what I noticed.
Because,
They
yeah.
withdraw.
Then-
That's common with teenagers to do, though, even when
Yeah.
they're not doing drugs.
Yeah, but those are
those are
those are
a
signs.
number of the
Yes, red flag.
Then when you also notice that they avoid eye contact with
Agree.
you because they are trying to avoid you reading into their eye, or
Right.
probably you want to see the redness or all those.
Something.
Those are not necessarily that they are. Anybody whose eyes is red. Is
I
not-
noticed the for the weed.
Yes. The
lip.
the
Yeah.
color of their lips.
Yeah.
changes, all
Well,
those kind
it
of-
changes
What happens
to
It changes to it's darker.
dark.
Yes, it's
Okay,
darker.
like
than-
Won't
But
that
you know
happen
the
if you're
same thing with
smoking
cigarettes?
cigarettes?
But you see, there's a bit of a difference when there's something about weed. I'm being honest because I have, and when I asked some young people why they were doing it, say for self-confidence.
Yeah, a lot of that's usually
That's it.
how they lure them into it.
Yeah,
They tell them
self-confidence.
it would even make you stay awake to be able to read, all those kind, especially for
Especially
those who are in
school.
school, all
Yes.
those kind of things. But then you will notice that their sleeping pattern will change. Some either they are sleeping when
People are-
every other person is awake, or they are awake
when
every other
everybody's
person is
asleep. Agree.
So those kind of there will be a lot of changes. Then when they are coming in, another thing is probably when they go out, they have this thing outside. When they are coming in, you'll notice a number of them may perfume their body
Yeah,
beyond
too
normal.
much.
Yeah, just to avoid you noticing that something.
Something.
yeah,
They took something.
I was,
Those
I
are
was
the real
trying to-
novices, because the ones that are a bit more clever will chew garlic.
Yeah, some
No,
some-
but you
some
see,
tom-toms. Yeah, all
It-
those.
no, you see, this thing, it's experience. When you're into it, then you now look for more tricks, and you get better at it. And the people you hang around with will advise you what things you should do to make sure that nobody notices
Yes.
you're on drugs.
Why do I need to do things that I need to hide from people? It doesn't add
No,
up.
but you see, I like what you just said. You see, the thing here is that they always say that, tell me who your friends are. And you see, growing up, I thought it was a joke. But you see, I always say, they say, okay, if you don't test something, you don't know, you're missing something. And I always tell people, something I have not had, there's no way I'm going to miss it. And most people don't have the self-confidence, and they're easily swayed. So when they say, what's wrong with you? Growing up, they used to say, you don't drink, you don't smoke, you're a bush local girl. So most people now want to say, okay, they are,
You don't have a boyfriend.
yeah, you're, so for you to get to that level and be friends with certain people, you have to do the things they do. And most of the time, that's when they lure these people into it. Getting out of
Peer
it
pressure.
now becomes a lot
those
of
are
problems.
predisposing factors.
I still think that parenting, when it comes to the younger ones, it's primary. And if even the adults, if the parents got it right when they were young, I always want to believe that at any point in your life, you wouldn't let anybody intimidate you. I don't know the kind of human being I'll stand in front and I won't be able to do what I want to do.
Things
as
have
long as
changed.
what I'm doing is not evil
Things have changed.
or wrong, parents should be able to become friends with their children. You're going to say
Parents don't
something?
have time for their kids.
No, they
anymore.
should have time.
Yeah,
if you don't have time, then you don't have business with parenting.
That's actually where the problem
Problem
starts,
is-
from the home. Like
Yeah.
in your introductory remarks, you said the family is the smallest unit of the society.
True.
And indeed, that's actually where this problem starts from. The moment it's able to graduate from that place, there becomes a big societal issue. Because from the home, like we discussed last week, if I mean there are a lot of parents that themselves indulge or introduce their children into these things.
That's
like
right.
whether the parents are taking themselves and they send the kids to go and buy, and when they are taking the kids are in work on and washing them, oh, my parent, my mom, my dad is enjoying this thing. When they are done, the little drop inside the bottle or the glass cup, they pack them. When they pack them to the kitchen, then they taste it. And that's how they start.
Yes.
That's how they start.
So
Whether
it's
secret, beer,
It's
or
not
whatever.
detailed.
Yes, that's how they start. And beyond that, beyond parents introducing their kids into it also, there are quite a lot of parents that don't even care when their kids go out, when they come in,
their friends
who their
are.
friends are, and what they have in their bags, their backpacks, in their wardrobes, all those kind of things. A lot of parents, their own is, okay, you guys take care,
Bam.
10,000 on the table,
Yes.
bam, they are gone. They don't care what the kids do when they are not even around. All those kind of
Yeah.
things matter in a home. We must, as parents, be able to. There was I have a friend who, for years, her son was in the uni studying a 4-year course, and the boy had spent more than 6 years, and she couldn't even find out at the time. She couldn't get the time to actually find out what was the problem.
She's not
But
supposed
she's
to
a
be a
single
parent.
mom. She doesn't have
She doesn't have any
relatives.
business
she
being a
even- they're
parent.
not even married.
So what
They
of the
were just-
husband?
They were just sending money to him. Okay, what is the issue? That one will just give them one story. They grab it.
Did they go back? Did they go to school?
Until one day the boy came home, and in the course of a conversation with standing in front of the mom, he collapsed
Ah,
because of overdose in his system. And it was when they rushed him to the hospital and the doctors conducted tests on him before they discovered that she broke down. She almost even passed out herself. Because, and I'm like, how do
kind
you
of a
have
mother is
a
this?
child, a grown up in the school, who was supposed to stay for 4 years and in a private university for that matter, is now spending
There
6 years.
is too,
and you
is there too much money something? See
couldn't
that
take the time.
private university school fees, you bring out 1.5 million, 2 million. You
For
pay
one
for school
semester.
fees.
One
but
semester.
sometimes
It's
5
supposed to be
million.
for 4 years per semester. It's supposed to be for 4 years. That thing entered 6 years and you didn't notice.
No, the woman.
It's
You
too
see, the
much
thing
money.
here is, you see. I always try to tell people, like you said, some people have no business parenting. How can you have a child? You send the child to school. Like I always tell people who like to follow those people that want their kids to go abroad. You can't have a visa. You send your kid abroad. How do you follow? That's why
if you
most
have
of-
relatives over there, I can understand. Maybe
But
they can help you.
my
Can
dear,
relatives
look,
even take care of you?
they
So
will
I'm
not.
trying to be
Okay.
broad-minded
You
here.
see, if
You understand?
we've been abroad, we go abroad. Nobody has anybody's time.
Yeah. And
They work from one time to this time. Everything about that's why most of the time I
And
think
their culture is
it's totally
it's also-
different.
it's very
Culture is-
unfair
is-
to
it's very
also
unfair.
deflect responsibility
To anybody.
Thinking somebody else will have to take
I mean, the
on
culture of the
West.
Yeah.
Western people,
It's so-
completely
it's a
different.
polar
It-
opposite.
it-
Yes.
it gives you room
If
for
you
these
do
things to
not have
connect.
if you do not have the money or the well will do to visit your kids when they're abroad, because I noticed that this supposed drug stuff is when kids come. I go to Lagos during the summer, supposed summer holiday.
That's our peak of
Yeah,
rain
so
season.
everybody is in Lagos. Then you have all the big shows from Wheezy to Davido, Burna Boy, and let me tell you, take it or leave it. They bring those things here, and the Nigerian people now want to be. Is it like you said, peer pressure? They want to belong to
They
the
overdo.
stuff.
Yeah,
Most
okay.
of the time, that is when this drug. If you notice, I will not tell you your job, but because I think I know you know, that is when drug issues escalate, especially in Lagos during the summer holidays. That's when I have parents telling me, oh, their kids are sick, they're this, they're that. They tell you their kids are sick, but they never tell you what's wrong. But when you see the kid, you know the kid is on drugs. And most of the time, We take the Western culture, bring it to Nigeria, and we get it into the system. Because most kids that are schooling abroad are on drugs. Take it or leave it.
Of
You're-
course.
Their parents don't know.
very
Of
correct.
course.
You know, what I tell people, somebody was once asking me, you know, when do you get to take a break as a parent? I said, till you die.
That's the truth.
Till you
True.
die.
Yeah.
And you make your children understand that in my language, we say that the okra tree can never grow so tall that it becomes taller than the owner.
True.
If you're that tall, like my children are all taller than I am, I pick a stool, I climb on it, and I come to you.
Yes.
So I always make you know that I'm in charge.
Yes.
It's important. Now, I recall when my daughter was in the university, you know, here, University of Abuja, she was living outside the school, and she asked me at a point within the first semester, she said, can I get a roommate? I said, you have one already. She said, who? I said,
You.
me. I'm the roommate. So, and I'll say, hey, Ruby, high five. I had my spare key.
Very
When I
good.
don't have much doing,
You go
I
there.
drive to Gwagwalada. You know, and she knows I can come at any time.
That is it.
I even had to become friends with some of the lecturers. The record person, what do they call that? The person that keeps record, Mr. Carey. You know, he's still there. If he's hearing me, he will tell you. You know, I'll actually go to find out what is her grades like.
Yes.
And
You
this is a culture that should be established from
Yes.
primary school.
Some people will ask me,
Even
do
nursery.
you still do, even the ones that are in
nursery,
Ilori,
yes.
I still do visiting day till
Yes.
today, once a month. Once a month. If I can't go in person, I send somebody. Your level advisor, I have the numbers. I don't know why parents will give birth and they don't want to take care of their
That
children.
is the unfortunate.
You
They
know,
leave it
the
for
one
teachers
that
to
killed
do.
me
You
is
see?
you want to form big man.
Yes.
You have 2 children.
Yeah.
What
You have 3 children. You go and build a 12-bedroom apartment, mansion. Your own wing is the other side. Your daughter's wing is the other side.
You don't even know what they have in
You
their
don't know what
room.
they are doing.
you
So
see,
they bring it people into the house,
Yes.
they smuggle things, and
Yes.
you don't know.
I want to add
And
to
the
this
party.
thing you said about teachers.
Yes.
I think many parents denigrate teachers, underestimate who
the
a
power.
teacher is in your child's life. If parents were willing to come to terms with that, the way it used to be during our own parents' generation, you know, your teacher could have even more authority over you
definitely.
than
No, but
even your
things have
parents.
changed.
The things have changed.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that parents should leave so much room that a stranger has the opportunity to abuse their child, which can happen. But you see, this thing of making friends with your child's teacher, it cannot be. It's I can't say how important it is.
It's very important.
Because it's very possible for your child to exhibit one character at home and be somebody completely different in school.
School.
To the point where when a teacher says your child is doing this, that, and the other, you'll be in a state of shock. Because as far as you're concerned, that's not the child you have at home. Sure, they could be lying, but you see, if you are friends with that teacher, they won't have need to just place a lie on
When
your
the teacher
child
even
and
knows
do
You
that
have interest in your
in
child
your
that
child's
much,
welfare. They
will
also
be-
go
they
the
also
extra
go
mile.
extra mile to put interest in that
You,
child.
you understand?
It's important.
And if that child knows that my parents relate with my teachers, oh, this one, they will not wait for visiting day. They can pick phone at any point and tell them the nonsense I'm doing in school. It will help them to
Yeah, you know,
be a
I
bit
agree,
more
I agree
contained.
with you. But you see, the thing now is that, yeah, you can talk to your children and all that. When we're growing up, they used to check my bags. They checked my boxes. I didn't have the audacity to bring something that was not given to me by my parents.
If I borrowed a book
That's it.
and it wasn't out of the house the next day,
Yes.
because back then, if you had your textbooks, your names were written on the
Everything is
inside
there.
cover.
That's exactly
You
what
have
we
this
say.
physics.
Yes.
We try
You
to
already have
educate
this
parents.
physics
Yes.
textbook. Why
Okay.
is Gloria's one in your house?
When your kids, your words are coming with their backpacks from outside,
Yeah.
you check what is inside.
Okay.
And even when they are asleep, do you go
you-
to their wardrobe?
Yes.
When they are not in the house, do you go to their wardrobe,
Wardrobe.
to check what is inside?
I don't need to do
Under
it.
their
When, I
pillow?
don't need to do it when you're sleeping. No. Me and you will do it together. I still check back till today.
And
even
because
till
sometimes
tomorrow.
why you
My
also need to
children
take
will
them by
kill me.
Surprise.
so that they don't
They don't see you
Mm.
coming.
coming.
Yes, they don't
The
see you coming.
surprise I give you is that you don't know the day of inspector. I can come at any time, at any minute, and with
No, parents should do their job.
Let's take
Parents
a break
should do their job.
a little now. We'll take a break. When we come back, the show will just be continuing. And of course, we'll take your feedbacks.
When there's a child out there that's not getting the same that your own child is getting, the difference will tell, and there will come a time in the society where that child is going to take his pound of flesh.
Where you can actually, everything from watching a program with the child, you can start up the conversation from something on the TV and say, oh, you know.
For me, it's like, hurry up with this business. And the other one said, Auntie, it's not about me, it's about the guys. They're not ready to marry.
If she wants to ask something, no, I know my mother very well. In fact, the most interesting one is when I put up pictures on WhatsApp, you know, Snapchat filters and all that. She will call me, remove that picture. There was a day I got tired of all that.
Although social media as a channel of communication is inherently harmless, it becomes harmful and damaging when used without discretion and thoughtfulness. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, reflect, and verify information before sharing it. Be a good social media user. Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source and use social media responsibly for a better Nigeria. This message is brought to you by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA, in collaboration with the National Orientation Agency.
All right, it's still conversations, and a lot has been happening behind. Well, we took that promo. I know you were trying to ask me something. Just
Yeah, I was saying that, you know, there's this very fine line between, you know, I'm all for being approachable to your kid and things like that. But some parents say this thing about being your child's friend. Now, I'm using the term child loosely here. We're all children to somebody,
yeah,
but we're adults.
Yeah,
I'm a child.
We're adults.
still
yeah.
a child.
So when in the use of child here for me is anybody who is still under the age of 18, or in Nigeria is it 21? You are technically not yet an adult.
Adults, yeah, true.
So for me, I feel that genuine friendship of sit down, gist, and other things can begin to come in small when your head don't calm down small. And when you are younger, especially between the ages of 0 to 10, there's need for a certain level of boundaries, certain level of strictness, so that you even understand how to conform with the society you are in. Not that I allow you to do whatever you like in my house, then the minute you enter another person's house, they can't wait for you to leave because you're a nuisance. So where do you draw the balance between being a friend and a parent?
The truth is, like you said, the line is very thin, but it's something you need to do, you know, with intentions. You have to be intentional, you have to be very deliberate, you know, in doing it. And it doesn't start from when your child is 18. It doesn't start from when your child is 10. It starts from the minute the pikin come off from you.
Yeah.
I always tell my kids right in the hospital, see, you guys, we're done. You're on your own, I'm on my own. I'm a babe, you're a babe. We're the same age. So I treat you like that, but the same age, meaning that I have known a lot. So I am there as a friend to make sure you don't do the wrong thing.
How do you make sure you are a friend?
No, that making sure is when they are doing something that is not right, and I say stop it.
And they don't stop.
They don't stop. I now force you to stop it.
How?
And I know, either by pulling you out when they are still toddlers, I pull you out. Sometimes, as a toddler, you're not going to use big hand to spank. You could just use this. The mere fact that you're spanking with your face tight, that child is not happy. You understand that something is wrong because you are actually a source of succor. Mind you used to breastfeed this child, you gave a bottle feeding and all of that. Then suddenly you're also giving a finger by way of beating. It's not synchronizing. So when that child is unhappy because you have squeezed face or because you have beaten, the onus lies on you to bring that child back and say, do you know why I beat you? So that child says no. You now explain the gravity of the thing, the offense.
So that's where the friendship
comes in. I said I had to do that because if you didn't, the lights which you were trying to put your hands into, it would turn to fire and it will burn you.
Yeah.
And you see, mommy loves you, and mommy won't. And apart from loving you, I don't have the time to leave my work and start carrying you to the pediatric wards for all this, that. Now, when they get older, they commit crime. My own method, though, I call you. I paint very ugly picture of that thing which you have done, and make you feel guilty. Eventually, I'll now ask you, do you think this thing you have done, that you have represented me well? Now, people will think I'm a failure. You have made me sad. I'll make you look as if whatever you have done is not your problem. It's now a failure on my part. When I have done all I think I should to be able to help, you now say, no, that it's not good, blah, blah, blah. I said, you see, the Bible said, he that commits crime,
Yes.
you collect your offense. Now, out of this punishment, which one do you think is suitable
most
for you?
appropriate.
You know, it's not caning, because Cain will just go. Look for what they treasure. Now, children say data is life. Just switch off the family Wi-Fi.
Simple.
Or you collect the phone for 1 hour or two.
That's
they
it.
will die and resurrect.
It's intentional parenting. That's the
Yes,
key word.
That's
It's
why
intentional.
because the thing is, in many instances where people say that they are their child's friend, that means that the child is parenting him or herself. The child is allowed to do whatever they like. If anybody tries to correct the child, it means that person. When I say correct, I'm not talking about beatings. No, I don't agree with beating or harshness or cruelty. But so much as drawing that child's attention to, listen, this thing you did is not right. The parent who feels that the child should be allowed to will be like, oh, it's because you don't love this child that you said this. If you love the child, you would have allowed that child to do exactly what they like.
When you give out punishment, for instance, then for different age brackets, I gave different punishments.
Agreed.
When they were small, I could say, okay, you're not going to watch TV for for
they won't give me meat.
And
if they don't give me meat,
or you will not eat ice cream.
Yes,
ice cream
those things register.
Yes,
they do.
And even if there was no ice cream in the house, because there is a punishment, I will deliberately buy ice cream.
Yes.
And I'll make sure you don't eat ice cream.
And you are eating it.
Yes, and you eat it where they are seeing it. So another thing
used to get to me.
Yeah, it used to get to me. Now, if you give that punishment, and it's taken, the punishment could be as little as you will not enter the living room. And I don't use the living room that much, the parlor. But because I'm giving you the punishment, I'll make sure I stay there. And I know you want to stay with me. So once in a while, I will come out and I'll go to your own room where you are. How are you? Have you eaten? You see, I'm extending hand of friendship.
Yes.
You're doing that punishment, but it does not mean that you will not take your lunch.
It's also the carrot and stick
approach.
So, but there are some parents, the child breaks a glass, they will beat you for that glass. And the whole day, they will keep nagging with it.
Exactly. And maybe even into the
No. That's where you now push. No, that's where you now push the child out to go and look for love or affection elsewhere.
The thing here is that I always tell people, you see, when you don't know the friends or the people your kids hang around with, I know people, they don't know the parents of their friends' kids, and they let them. Most parents are letting their children do sleepovers
without knowing
anything.
Is in. I don't get
so
it.
that is, you see, the parents are the problem we're having right now. If you have kids and you don't know where they're sleeping overs and traveling to, that is when all these kids learn all this bad. No, it's you see that culture.
You say, "Mommy, I'm going for sleepover." Yeah. What is that?
They're doing sleepover, and if you don't let them do sleepover,
you're a bad person.
You're a bad parent. So you see, the main problem about this, the only way we can curb this thing.
Which one is
The parents
carry
have-
over? What happened?
No,
with
no,
the
carryover is exam.
It's exam.
When you carry from one to the other class. Sleepovers is when you go to your friend's place and sleep.
There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with sleepovers as a concept, but I think that it should be something that happens when both families know each other so
Very
well,
well.
Yes.
that you're almost related at this
So
point.
you know what they're doing when you're
not some
around.
random stranger coming
Yeah.
to sleep in your house.
Yeah,
that
you
you
see,
don't-
I'm a very ancient parent person. I don't understand sleepover and I now do it.
Yeah,
And you know-
it's actually people do these days.
You see, the
but then-
Gen Zs and the millennials are
Yeah.
the ones who have picked this thing.
My,
But
my parents
well,
never allowed
no,
it.
but you know
I
the
will
thing.
not do that
I didn't
sleepover.
see
you
anybody
see,
No,
do
no, of course, these
Nobody
were not
These
things.
were, no, you see, we didn't do it. And now I always tell parents, like my father used to tell me, growing up, even I still live at home, and my visitors are not outside. They want to see who I'm hanging. So I see very young kids. Their visitors are outside. They're not coming in. The parents don't know who you're hanging around with. What do you expect? One day they're on drugs and you now say, but I didn't know.
But it's actually better you know who your, child's friends
Exactly.
are.
Let them come into the house.
Go to their own house, know
Yes.
their parents, know the
Yes.
kind of background,
Exactly.
see how they live and all
That's
all
how
the
it is.
things they do.
That's how it
So
is,
that
because
you
this
just
one we're doing is talking sleepover. Do you know that pregnancy happens in 1 minute?
Thank
I
you.
don't know that kind
No, I mean,
No.
if you have a
When you
home
allow
where you
your
have
child
grown,
to do sleepover,
grown
the child
boys.
is a girl.
Because
And
you
he's
see, she
sleeping over
has-
with her girlfriend.
Yes, but the
And she has
brother,
a brother.
there's no blood
The
relationship
uncle is
between your
there.
friend and that brother.
And he has a
I'm
brother.
sorry to say, sometimes the father, the supposed parent, who is supposed to
True.
protect the daughter, the girl child,
If he's
who
the
is
irresponsible type,
because most of the
it
time
would-
it's happened. So you can see where
So
we're
the
coming from.
father of the girl.
father of
Yeah.
the friend of the
Of
sleepover.
sleepover friend.
So you
well,
see,
in life generally,
Yes.
anything everything that has disadvantages
has
must also have-
advantages.
yeah.
Well, the problem is that the disadvantages
seems
for
to
a girl
outweigh
child
the advantages.
is way above the male child. Because the male child won't get pregnant, will they?
Well, all it demands is experience, vigilance. We all have
Very
to be
important.
They can become an early daddy.
No, somebody is there writing here. He says she's a lady, and it's a long stuff. Let me just summarize it. He has issue with her husband, and she says we're condemning what she's doing. That's the only time she finds relaxation is when she has taken one or two things. Otherwise, she could actually
No.
name
Then leave the
husband.
marriage.
That is
Not that easy.
that is not well, those are, unfortunately, we may not have enough
time.
time to discuss the predisposing factors. I mean, in the situation she's probably in, that's one of the. I also have the other side of it. Recently, I have a friend whose son married because he has issues with his marriage and he has to go depend into so
The boy went into
yeah, because
the
yeah,
thing
it's
most of the
it's
time.
so a lot of people cannot. I was in the US recently. A friend of mine, her 9-10-year-old, because you see, mental health is very key these days. Something that a lot of us are not discussing enough. I'm telling you, and the makeup of people's mental
Psyche.
state cycle these days differ. What I can take, you may not be able to take it. Now I give you this, my friend's son. What triggered his own? He said a 9-10-year-old boy said he's
black.
feeling depressed.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm like, depressed? How? Oh, you are not paying school fees, you are not feeding yourself, you are not paying rent. What would be
what's
depressing in
depressing
it? But
you?
you know, simple.
Yeah.
And what we're talking about also came into being. It was the teacher that actually called the mom
Wow.
to say ABC.
Something is wrong.
Something is wrong. Maybe the mom needs to talk to him, and the mom actually placed a call, and he said yes, because the mom didn't tell him that the mom is a nurse, that she was going to
Travel?
no, that she was going to go to work for night duty. That's just it. Because the boy was expecting that when
He
his
comes
mom
back.
is around, he will always go to her, cuddle her, stay on her bed, those kind of
He
things.
doesn't have a father?
Where
Yeah,
the
it's
father was
probably
not
closer
in
to
their
the mom.
well, they say
it's
they
a
don't have,
single
they're not in the
mother.
same location. They're not in the
Okay.
same location.
All right.
So that as little as that,
That's triggered.
yeah, has triggered something. And so people also it could be abuse in the marriage, could trigger either the husband, and in a part of the country also polygamy also triggers that. Polygamy.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, because when you see a man married to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wives, and you know, love is not what you can share equally. And when
Well.
the ladies, yeah, it's not what you can share equally. When the ladies see, okay, he's always going to this more than he
Well,
comes to
that's
me.
that's what you think, maybe because of your religion. The other people who practice it think they can share love equally.
They think.
That's
You
it,
said
but
that
it's
that's
not
in
like-
reality.
In
And I'm
reality,
telling
that's
you
not
from
playing out.
from our interviews, from what we hear from them, all these are the things that trigger these things. And so the women you will see, and in their own case is complex, because even to bring them for them to come out to seek help is difficult, because
difficult.
and you cannot also approach them like you approach every other person. And that's why I'm happy with the introduction of the call center by the NDLA, the toll-free line, where people in the comfort of their homes, unassisted, you can call and you talk to somebody who will not judge you, who will not stigmatize you.
That's
Yeah.
the for.
The call center, the toll-free drug abuse call.
Do you have
why
a
don't
number?
you
Yes,
put the
0800 10 20 30 40.
Okay, if the
If you're having
graphic
issues,
units
yeah.
can
Yes.
copy that and type it out for us,
Yes,
it will make a lot of help.
0800 10
No,
20.
don't be too fast with it.
Okay.
Okay.
3040.
Okay,
And the
that's
good thing about
the
it
number
is
you
when
can
you
register.
call, if you can't speak English, I mean, if you can speak English, they attend to you in English.
Hausa?
If it's Pidgin, they will attend to you in Pidgin. If it's Hausa, they will attend to you in Hausa. If it's Igbo, they will attend to you in Igbo. If it's Yoruba, they will attend to you in Yoruba. That's the major languages we have at the moment. We start maybe when Divan will start speaking. I know, because you will get there. That's why I preempted that. But then all our psychologists, psychotherapists, counselors, psychiatrists, they can attend to you
That's
in
a
these
good one.
languages. And
That's a good one.
That's a
But
good
somebody is asking me here right now that you should please call the number again.
okay, 080, then another 0, then 10203040.
All right,
very-
someone person is sending us message here. He says, assuming your son is friends with somebody, and that person is a smoker, and or he's taking drugs, you suspect. How do you begin to separate them?
You as a you don't that's straightforward. Is you just can't continue that relationship. If and another thing you can do as also a good parent is, if it's possible for you to locate the parent of the other person,
the other person.
your son or your daughter is doing this, can you get help for him or her?
Yes.
It's very key.
Yes.
Because now we don't have to wait till it gets to us.
Yes.
We also have to, when we see anybody who is having issues with this, we also have to see if we can get help for the person. So that is the whole society approach, where everybody comes on board. You do something in your own little corner, I do something in my own little corner. That way the step you take could save the life of that person. Because you never can tell, if you succeed in separating your child from the fellow today, you don't know where they could meet tomorrow.
again.
So it's always good you also take an action.
Yeah.
Apart from securing your own child, you can also do
Agreed.
something about the other person.
Yeah,
It's
that's a good
important.
one.
Good morning
Very
for
important.
the program. It's really very educative. One of the greatest problem comes in from the parents. There is no awareness, and saying that the parents should, create more awareness for themselves. And there's a question for you here too. It says to the NDLA spokesman, please, I'm interested in the training in the rehabilitation centers. I am Obole one of the best leather work person in the country, declared by the former president. Good luck, Jimmy. I don't know. Say he doesn't want to, but he's interested to train.
Okay,
To work in the rehab. Whether you could have.
Yes, one of the things we're doing, like we have counseling and treatment centers attached to our commands across the country, but at the moment, like in this year now, we'll be building what we call the model rehab centers in parts of the country, where would also have skill acquisition centers, so that when people are like some of the private rehab centers are not specifically that owned or funded by the Redeemed Church in Lagos. They have, because we were there recently because we work in partnership with them. That's Kadam. It's in Ekpe. You have very massive place, and when they have clients in there, apart from taking them through counseling and treatment, they also engage them so that by the time they are done with their treatment, when they are going out with a skill equipped. And that is also part of the reasons why we're also engaging with the state governments, the local governments, so that, because we discussed last week, I mentioned about socio-economic factors. There are quite a number of these people that went into drugs because of poverty, lack of jobs, all this kind of thing. We are aware that the government of President Buhari has is committed to lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty. But beyond all of that, we need across the states, across the country, we need governments at all levels to also support this move.
Some persons are asking whether they can call. No, you cannot call. It's text only, because they can't actually accommodate that. But on a quick, brief, final parting words, so to speak, I'd like you to, talk about communication just a little in ensuring that we maintain a good relationship with our children.
Well, like we said, as you put it beautifully, it's not about going overboard, beating the child black and blue, slamming heads into walls, or maybe a child does something, it's a mistake. For instance, I avoid scolding for mistakes. Like, I literally don't talk to anybody about a broken glass or cup, because I know that in your sound faculties, there's no way you picked that glass and just smashed it on the ground. So I don't even address such things. And yet there are homes where, burnt rice will result in beatings, scoldings that will last 5 days. Every visitor that comes to the house gets told about it. And no, what you want to do is you want to strike a balance. And anything that involves brutality, whether it's in spoken form or in physical, leave it out.
Agreed.
All right, burnt rice. Okay, you talked about freedom. Freedom. We have need for freedom. Just briefly too.
Well, freedom. I always tell people that let your kids be free. Just balance it up. Because if you think you gag them up, that little time, they can do the things that is going to destroy them. So parents too should try and balance up freedom. Let their kids be.
It's about balance. Don't lock them up in the house.
Balance. It's balance. Final words.
Well, for me, I'll just say with the situation of drugs in the country today, is a wake-up call for parents to actually do what we call intentional parenting. Look after your kids, understand them, make friends with them, be their friend, and go beyond the home, know who they mix with outside, and all of that will ultimately give you rest when you are old.
All right, that's said. I'll just be saying bye-bye. On a parting note, really, I want to still bring it back home. The parents, try to make friends with your children. It's important. It's never late. If you didn't start yesterday, you can start today, and make sure they're your friends. If they are your friends, a lot of troubles are taken away. Let me tell you something. If you don't have time for your children today, when you get old, you'll be needing them around. You'll find out they don't have time for you. It's payback time. And please, no sleepovers. Ho-ha. No sleepover. Bye.